Welcome back, guys, to Failed Tinkedin's Guide to Pally Tanking. In this video, we're going to go over some add-ons that might make your life just a little bit easier as a paladin tank, and also touch base on a few tips that might also help. Also, guys, I'm going to put links in the video here on YouTube, so watch for those so you can just click them and go right to the website. Alright, guys, first thing I want to talk about is there is a program called Curse Client. You can download it off of the Curse website or just Google it there. What it does is it allows you to easily install add-ons without having to use any kind of zip files, without having to extract any files or open any windows. What it does is it's a little program that runs separate from WoW. You open it up, you can click on the database that it already has of all the add-ons on the Curse website. You type in a name, find your add-on, right-click it, say install. It is a free service. They do offer a paid service where it'll keep things like your settings for your add-ons on if you have multiple computers. They'll do other things like allow you to download more than one add-on at a time. So with the free version, you do have to download each one individually. With the paid version, you can download multiple ones at a time. I use the free version, works great. Really nice application to have, especially if you're not familiar with the computer. One of the more obvious add-ons that I use is called Dominoes. There are several other add-ons that are very similar to it called Bartender, and I think there's a few other ones out there. What it does is it basically just allows you to move your action bars. As you can see here, I have my action bars all set up a little funky. And if I go ahead and click on the icon here, you can see I can go ahead and move these different bars. I can put it over here if I wanted to. And you can see now I have my action bar over here. I can do my moves. So it's a very useful add-on just for moving your action bars around. You can set them up to be transparent, whatnot. Not going to go too much into it. It's a pretty common add-on, and there are others that are very close to it. So whichever you prefer. Alright, guys, another add-on that I've used for years and I absolutely love is called Smart Buff. As you can see here, I'm getting a notification flashing on my screen saying Failed Tinkedin needs Devotion Aura. This is a great add-on because anytime one of your party member dies, or anytime the buffs are about to drop, it'll give you this notification, and using a simple scroll of the wheel, it'll automatically rebuff whoever needs that buff. If we take a look at the configuration here, if I just click on Smart Buff, you can see this is what the window looks like. These are all the abilities that I can use on Failed Tinkedin. I just select which ones I want to use. Also, this add-on will automatically switch when I go into a group or a raid or even a specific instance. I have several different settings here. I can set up for solo, for a party, if I want to set up different things for a raid. So say for instance when I'm solo I want to use Crusader Aura. When I'm in a party I want to use my Devotion Aura, but when I'm in a raid I want to use something like my Resistance Aura. I can set up all those individually. I can also set it up so that all I have to do is scroll my mouse wheel and it'll automatically buff the correct buff for whoever is missing that buff, whether it be me or a party member. One thing I want to point out is the difference between Smart Buff and a lot of other buff add-ons that you see is a lot of other buff add-ons will actually put a window that you have to sit there and click on. It'll give you timers and things like that. Smart Buff, you don't have to have that window, you don't have to have any kind of timers. It'll automatically notify you when buffs are run out or when they're about to run out, and all you simply do is just scroll your wheel and it'll automatically buff everyone. You never have to pay attention to your buffs again. So you can see here I'm going to remove my, I'm just going to go ahead and remove all my buffs in fact, just to show you how much of a difference it makes. So I get Seal of Truth, it says, oh I'm sorry, I got Might with that one. It says I need Seal of Truth. Now I need Flask of Enhancement. And all I'm simply doing is just scrolling my mouse wheel up and down, and it's automatically putting the correct buffs on. Alright guys, for damage meters I actually took SCADA over recount. The reason why I did this is because SCADA actually shows you your damage taken per second. I also like the way the menus go through. If I right click on the top here, I always go to the main menu or the home menu. And that's just kind of like a back button. If I click current fight and show damage taken, something you're going to notice is that SCADA actually shows you a damage taken per second, whereas recount doesn't do this. Recount just shows you your total damage. This is really nice for comparing your mitigations, seeing if you're really taking less damage. One other thing I really like about SCADA over recount is if I go to damage here, I could see obviously just like recount does, my damage per second, total damage. But what recount doesn't do, or at least it doesn't do as efficiently, is if I click here, it'll show me how much damage I'm actually doing from each spell. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this guy off here. And we can see on the list here, as I cast my spells, it's showing me which spells are actually pushing me to do more damage there. That's one nice thing. Recount does do this something similar. If you right click the name, it brings up this big window with a pie graph, and it shows you which one of your damage spells is doing the most damage and that kind of thing. I actually like SCADA better. You can see it's pretty easy to see. It's a little more readable, so that's why I chose SCADA. It's really preference. If you guys prefer recount, go ahead and use recount. I really like SCADA over recount, and I just made that switch recently to give you an idea. Also, one other thing SCADA does I want to point out is we can see here, now that the fight's finished, it shows the actual fight in the list on the home page. And as you do your fights, you'll see each fight listed here. So much like recount, you can just easily select your total damage done throughout the whole instance or whatever you're doing. You can do just your current fight, or you can have a list of all the fights that you've done recently. Alright, another add-on I want to touch base on is called Carbonite. It's classified as a mini-map replacement, but it actually does a lot of things other than just mini-maps. It does things like keeps track of all your nodes, just like gather wood. It gives you a little arrow on your screen, just like TomTom. In fact, it'll emulate TomTom. You put waypoints. You can easily just click on the map and say go to here, or you can say clear go to, so now you're not tracking that. It'll do a really nice feature called punks. So if you're on a PvP server, if someone around you is flagged, or if you're flagged, it's going to give you warning that there's an opposite faction near you, so that you can go ahead and actually click on their name and target them. And if you're something like a hunter or warlock, send your pet at them. Really nice to have. However, Carbonite is very confusing at first. It takes a little effort to work with it. So if you don't want to go through all that, I don't recommend getting Carbonite. But it's an extremely powerful tool when you get the hang of it. So that's all I'm going to touch base on it. It does a lot more than I mentioned here. Those are just some of the cooler features that it does. Alright guys, the next thing I want to share with you is actually not an add-on, it's a macro. Unfortunately, I just found this macro, or else I would have put it in my macro section. But what it does is it allows you to click the macro and give you the list for the flares. So this is really nice because a lot of the add-ons for some reason give you a lot of the LUA errors that you see all the time from your add-ons. Since it's just a built-in macro, you won't get that. If you click the macro here, you'll see you'll get a list for all the flares. The list is a little bit farther to the left, so yours might actually say something a little bit different. But you can see the different colors here. The all actually is clear all, so you have that option. But if you click something like, let's say, the red flare here, put down the red flare. You can see you can put down the flares here. Click it again. Got the green flare. Put a green flare there. Really great for pointing things out to people that might not know exactly where to stand or whatnot. Then we can click it again and click clear all. So there you go. That's a macro that can replace a lot of the add-ons that are out there. Nice little simple macro, save you from getting all those LUA errors. Alright guys, I want to go over two add-ons that are a must-have for any raider, but especially for tanking. One is called DBM. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up here. It stands for Deadly Boss Mods, which you'll hear it referred to as DBM. What it does is it goes ahead and gives you notification of different abilities that the raid bosses have. It'll also give you a bar that shows a timer for the abilities. It'll also give you a splash screen here that will tell you when the abilities actually occur. So this is a must-have for raiding, especially for tanking, so you can call out and be prepared for events before they happen. The other thing I want to show you, and I'm actually going to hit a target here to show you this, is called Omen. It is an absolute must that you have Omen as a tank. What it does is it puts bars here on this little black box. This is Omen, and it's kind of customized, so yours might look a little different. But these bars here show actual threat. So as you can see here, if there were other DPS, you'd see some other bars here. And it gives you a bar graph representation of how much threat you have over the DPS. So you want to make sure that as a tank, that's one of the main things we watch, especially on raid bosses. You want to keep that thread above all your DPS. This is the add-on to do it. So you can see Ullman now, or I'm sorry, DBM is finishing up there. Kind of get a feel for how that add-on works. Those are two must-haves for any guild, any raid. Those are the two add-ons that they want you to have for sure. Alright guys, so the next add-on I want to go over with you is actually Tidy Plates. And the add-on itself is Tidy Plates, but we use the mod for it called Threat Plates. Actually two different things you have to download, but they work together. What it will do is it'll actually put these nice neat little plates over the target's head, and it will actually show you if you lose a threat on one of those targets. You can customize it to however you want it to look, whatever colors you want it to be. But what happens generally is when you lose threat on a target, you can see it's big and red like it is here. This allows you to go ahead and click on that target. So if you didn't have it targeted, you could easily click on it, use a taunt on it or something. But you'll see as I go up and actually hit it, it's going to act as if I have threat on it, because obviously I'm not in a party. This is the only way I can show you. If I go hit it, the bar will actually get small and green, indicating that I do have threat on it. Okay. So if I was tanking a bunch of these guys, I would see a bunch of little green plates. If I were to lose my aggro on one of them, the plate would become big and red like we saw it before. I could then easily just go ahead and click on that plate. I would have the mob that I lost aggro on, and I'd go ahead and taunt. So it's a really nice visual for several targets. Omen is more for a single target raid boss. Tidy Plates is more for instances or when you're AoE tanking. One thing that I can't show you right now, but that Tidy Plates also with Threat Plates does, is before you actually lose threat, or if you don't have full threat on a target, the bar will actually turn yellow. So it'll go from green to having full threat, yellow to being able to be really close to losing threat, and red to have completely lost threat and you need to taunt it. Alright guys, I wanted to go over an add-on called Power Auras. I'm going to go ahead and leave a line of code in my description, or if you're on the Clan Bash Undead website, I'm going to leave it on there, that you can actually copy that and then go to this add-on and click import, and then you just paste the line and hit accept, and that will actually copy the settings that I have in here. So I'll do that for my Holy Shield, my Word of Glory, my Inquisition. I'll even do it for all the taunts here. So all you have to do is just copy and import, and then that way you won't have to set it up. Why am I going to do it that way? Because this can be very confusing. If you click on Word of Glory, say here, this is the actual settings for it. You can actually make it look however you want. I guess that's the face of Jesus there. Get it? Alright, and then you can make all these different icons. Not going to go into it too much. There's plenty of tutorials on how to set it up. You can see this is kind of what it looks like. If you want an example of what it actually looks like when you attack something here, I'm going to go ahead and get my Holy Shield up. So here's my indicator for Holy Shield. I get a big nice timer on there. I could go ahead and pop my Word of Glory. Now it shows me Word of Glory is down. I don't have to keep flipping back to see that Word of Glory is down. You can set up all kinds of indications. I even have my taunts set up in Power Auras, especially with my heal bot. If I use Hand of Reckoning, you see it disappears. If you wait a few seconds, my Hand of Reckoning is going to reappear. And I will put all this in my comments so you guys could just copy it and paste it instead of having to try to set it up. And that's how you use Power Auras. I suggest you guys play around with it and get it to work. It's a great add-on. Also, when you import the spells, you just click on the spell and click Edit. And if you replace this name here, you can just replace this name with an ability. That way you don't have to really set it all up again. And you can just keep making copies of this. Alright guys, it's PowerType. I'm out of time. I hope my tutorials were helpful. Keep checking back. I might put a few more up depending. Alright, I'll see you guys later.